All of us One Piece fans are accustomed to seeing this as the start of One Piece, but what if I told you that there potentially could have been a completely different start to the show, and I'm talking about some massive changes. I'm Agent B, and today we're going to be taking a look at the alternative beginning to One Piece. Back in 1996, Eichiro Oda, the author of One Piece, released a one-shot called Romance Dawn version 2. This one-shot was part of the Wanted volume and was adapted in episode 907 of the anime. And I'm basically just going to go over it and talk about things that I found interesting, and trust me, you want to stick around till the end. The one-shot starts off with Luffy just chilling in a small little boat until a bird falls down on him and busts a hole in the boat. And I mean, just a side note, but Luffy still has the gum fruit, so he is unable to swim. Luffy being Luffy uses amazing logical thinking skills to seal the hole using the bird. I mean, I'm glad to see his personality hasn't changed much. That's always fun to see, since I mean, we all love Luffy's personality. We then see a gigantic ship nearing him. A mysterious man in the ship then requests Luffy to give him the bird back. Since Luffy has always been a pretty straightforward person, he does as he is told and comes on board to hand over the bird. Here we are introduced to Anne, and it's pretty obvious that she's a parallel version of Nami. I mean, just look at them. Moving forward, Anne is mad at Luffy for bringing back the bird on the ship. She then goes on to tell him about Six-Sided Spiel. I'm just gonna pronounce his name that way, I don't really know. But Six-Sided Spiel is the captain of the ship and supposedly a black magic user. It's also said that Spiel destroyed Anne's village. I mean, and this brings me back to the start of the other Romance Dawn. One Piece originally started off with Luffy floating around in a barrel as he makes his way onto Alvida's ship, where he meets Kobe. Whereas in this version, he's floating around in a boat, gets called onto Spiel's ship, and meets Anne. I mean, that's just something I found pretty similar between the two versions, so let's get back to it. Spiel then comes up to Luffy to thank him for retrieving the bird, and Luffy insults him. Long story short, Anne and Luffy get locked up in a cell. After a mini argument, Anne explains her bird to the connection by telling Luffy that the bird's name is Balloon and it was her best friend. She then questions Luffy about his motives to come to the sea, and this is where it gets interesting. Instead of the usual old, I wanna be the king of pirates, he says that he wants to be a peaceman. He explains that pirate crews who pillage around are called Morganeers, whereas peacemanes are pirates who adventure around by feeding on Morganeers. And I mean, if you thought that was shocking, you won't believe what I'm about to say. The story kicks off into a flashback and we get to know that Garp is a peaceman. Yes, you heard me right. Instead of the stuck-up Navy Garp, we get to see a pirate version of Garp, which was honestly hilarious and amazing to see. And you guys remember how Garp always forced Luffy to be a Navy? Well, in this version, he wants Luffy to be a pirate, but Luffy rejects this by saying that he does not want to be a pirate. Later, Garp and his crew fight over some treasure that they found earlier, and you might see where this is heading. They find the gum fruit in this treasure, and we all know what happens next. Luffy eats it and gains the power of the devil fruit. Garp then explains the consequence of eating a devil fruit, which is, not being able to swim, of course. They both have a moment of shock, but then Luffy reminds Garp that he does not want to be a pirate, so eating the devil fruit doesn't really affect him. A couple panels later, Luffy breaks down and we get to know that the only reason he said that he did not want to be a pirate was because he couldn't swim even before eating the devil fruit, and this was pretty sad to see. After seeing Luffy and Garp throw hands at each other for a couple panels, we return back to the present, with Luffy telling Anne that the Strawhat was given to him by Garp. This was one of the major differences between the two Romance Dawns, since we did not see the presence of Shanks, since Garp was there as a replacement. Luffy and Anne then escape the prison utilizing Luffy's devil fruit powers. Luffy refuses to help Anne, so they end up parting ways. Anne goes on to sneak out and rescue her bird while Luffy finds a new boat. Later we see a panel of Anne pinning down a crew member, since Spiel supposedly promised to let the boat go if Anne could defeat a man on the crew. I mean, since Spiel is an honorable man, he gives over the cage keys to Anne, and she goes on to open the cage until bang, she gets shot in the back. I mean, did you really think Spiel was such a good person? As the tragedy takes place, Luffy comes out of the door dragging his new boats, and I'll be honest, this panel was hilarious for no reason. Just look at Luffy's arms. Moving on, Luffy says Spiel's head looks like a water strider. I mean, I gotta love Luffy's guts. The thing is, little moments like these are why he's my favorite shonen MC. He then goes up to Anne and asks her a dumb question. Anyways, he then gets shot by Spiel, and knowing Luffy, he reflects back the bullets using his devil fruit. After a couple reaction panels, we see Spiel pulling out a big ass hammer and he hits Luffy with it, and guess what? Nothing happened. I mean, what did you expect? Luffy is a rubber man. Just a side note, but I don't know why, but the reaction panels in this one shot are pure gold. Just look at them. Finally, the ass kicking has started as Luffy punches Spiel, and oh, this was so satisfying to see. We are then blessed with a couple more reaction panels. Luffy then reveals that he is a rubber man, and while he does this, Spiel got the bird and took the easy way out and basically abandoned his crew. I mean, honestly, words cannot express how much I hate this guy. He's just annoying. I know, if you thought abandoning his own crew was bad, you're gonna hear me out. He used his powers and sank the ship with all his crew on it. This guy just keeps getting worse, doesn't he? Well, now everybody is sinking. Luffy is panicking since he cannot swim, but Anne comes to the rescue and saves him. She then reveals more information about the bird and why Spiel wants it. It's said that balloon is the last rock, and a rock's blood carries a magical power, which explains why Anne was captured. Luffy then comforts her like the man he is. I mean, gotta love him. As Spiel is just chilling, Luffy flies over to him and lands on balloon. Spiel then touches Luffy's hats and oh, such a badass panel. And, this reminds me of back when Luffy was fighting Buggy. Moving forward, he lands a huge blow on Spiel, and finally that annoying guy is gone. The story starts to wrap up as Balloon carries Luffy, and we get to see a little flashback of Garp explaining the true meaning of a treasure to Luffy. And the one shot finally ends with the narrator talking about Luffy making his reputation in the sea. And that's basically it for the alternative beginning to One Piece. This was a lot of fun to read and watch, so I definitely recommend you to go back and watch it. And I mean, it's pretty interesting how this could have been the One Piece that we know today. Anyway, if you did enjoy and learn something new, dropping a like or a sub is much appreciated. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I will see you guys in the next one.